You're listening to The Business Focused Photographer. If you're ready to transform your photography business into a thriving career, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll discuss fun and innovative ways to boost your creativity and income. Sound good? Let's go.
Hi, welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am here with an old friend and a returning guest, Jamie Bugbee King. Jamie Bugbee is a PNW family photographer, but Jamie does something that many other photographers would only dream of doing and probably think is not an option for them, where Jamie targets other destinations where she just basically wants to travel and markets to those areas and then shoots there at a premium. And she does this successfully. And that's why Jamie's back already, is because this is something that I think is really interesting and inspiring. And it's a result of her wildly impressive SEO prowess. So Jamie will be dropping some little tidbits of information and tips as far as SEO goes. But welcome back, Jamie. I love seeing you.
I love seeing you too. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. And my cat will be joining me too. I hope that's okay.
As always. And you know, I'm a cat lady, so I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Yeah, so you already know because we were just chatting, but the reason that when we were talking about you coming back, and because there's a variety of things that you could talk on, and that's probably why you'll come back again after this, but I love what you have done as far as you've figured out how to create these different homepages, market to Palm Springs, market to the Washington coast, I think maybe. I'm not as familiar with the West Coast, obviously, but you travel there. And Jamie, your business is relatively young to have such traction. You went full time in the last few years, right?
I did. Yeah. I think I was like 5.5 years in. Yeah.
Wow. And so you're in business less than 10 years, like total. And the fact that you've been able to do this and just make it work for you. And it, like, when I learned about this, I, of course, assumed that it was like, oh, well, she must not have little kids. She must not have a very demanding life, because I can never do this. You have little kids. You have a marriage. You have a home to tend to. You have actually a lot of pooping dependents at your house that need your care. So like, you figured out a way to make this part of your business work, which is amazing. Amazing. Can you talk a little bit about where you were mentally when you were like, let me try to start marketing to Palm Springs before I go to Palm Springs?
So, yes, and I love that you mentioned that I have kids and I'm pulled in multiple directions, because this is not easy for me. I was just about to cry this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, I have so many things to do. You know, my daughter was sick and dropping off kids and baseball last night and trying to get to the doctor and take care of myself. Like, it's crazy. Like, so just, know that I did this, and I was working full-time healthcare, and my life was crazy. It's still crazy. And my kids are 6 and 9, lots of pets. So very overwhelmed, probably have ADD, and I've figured out a way. So just know that when I tell you these things that I did. Yeah. But so I was in an SEO course. I've done multiple SEO courses, but the last big one that I did, I was learning a lot more about how to rank in multiple areas. And I was ranking okay in those areas, but I was never getting booked. I didn't know how to speak to my dream client. I didn't know how to come across as luxury without, I don't think you have to say you're luxury. There's a way to do it, but how do I charge that price and have it make sense for them? And how do I get booked in multiple areas? Because where I am based is around Portland, Oregon. I'm actually in Rush Prairie, Washington. I'm like 30 minutes northeast of like the Portland airport. So I'm super close. And only 2 hours from the Oregon coast, which I love to shoot there. I'm not too far from Seabrook, other Washington coast areas that are really beautiful. So I wanted to get booked there more. And I was in the Elaine S. Blair mastermind a long time ago, but I always go to her retreats and I always enjoy it because in the winter here, it's dark and dreary. Don't love it. So I'm always like trying to escape.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'm gonna be going to her retreat anyway in January, and I think that December, I was like, "Huh, I wonder if I could rank there." I was like, "I wonder if I could do it." So I basically created a page and I optimized it, and, I already had, a good handful of images from there because I was going to her retreats, so I could use those. I mean, they weren't perfectly ideal, but I threw them up there. I optimized the page. I did a little bit of work on the back end, and I started ranking there probably in 6 weeks. Maybe I was on page one, but not getting booked yet. And then I went to the retreat. I hadn't been booked yet. I was like, okay, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then I think a month later, I went back because I got booked. And at the time, I think I was charging maybe 9 to 1,200, but I had a ton of like Alaska Air points or Southwest or something. So I was like just trying to build my portfolio and
Yeah.
things like that. And also I do have family there, but I don't stay with them. So there are costs involved for me to go, but I do one of my godchildren lives down there, so I do have family too.
Okay.
But anyway, I went down, signed a model release, luckily, and I was able to use that and then got hired again, went down again, maybe, I don't know, a couple of months later. And then I went to another retreat in the spring, with Becca Jean Photography and one of the other local photographers that was there. We were riding together in the car and I was telling her about it. And I was like, I'm going to have to charge a lot more. It's different with taxes and my cost of doing
Yeah.
business and the
Yeah.
client I want to serve down there. And she was like, you need to be charging at minimum like $3,000. I was like, I can't do that. And she was like, "Well, you have to." And so I'm just driving and we're talking and, I was like, "No way." And she's like, "Well, what do you have to lose?" She's like, "If you that" she's like, "You do need to charge that to make a really good profit, and you should do that." So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try it." And I think I got booked maybe a month later and I was like, "Oh my gosh, maybe I'm onto something here." So
Right.
now I have an associate down there and, I pay her very well. I pay her $1,000 a session. And then, so, you know, I it was I hate saying this because I hate when people say this, like, "I didn't mean to do it and it just worked." 'Cause I'm always like, "Oh my gosh, that never is me." But now I have something that kinda just it did work. And it was
Good.
just kind of I was like, "I'm just gonna see if it works."
Well, I think that's the important piece here is
Mhm.
you weren't afraid to fail,
No, I
right?
feel every day.
Right. This was something I just had a discussion with my husband about where because I am always trying new things in my own business
Yeah.
and trying and refining, and it's not just out of boredom, it's out of like paying attention to what's changing around me and like how do
Yes.
I flex to and fill these different needs that are popping up. And
Yeah.
he said that to me. He was like, "Yeah, your business is never just like the same. It's always kind of you're trying new
Mhm.
things." I'm like, "Yeah, and I'm failing a lot." I said, "I think that's
Yeah.
the only reason I'm in business and doing very
Yeah.
well after all this time is like, yeah, you are willing to try new things, calculated
Yeah.
risks, of course,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
but like the real risk there was, a bruised ego and some misused airline points. But at the end of the day, you're in like paradise, so it's okay to
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I can get away for, like, 48 hours, maybe 3 days, and when, you
wow.
got little kids and you're alone, that feels like a week. I mean, seriously, it feels like
Yes,
such
it
a
does.
nice break.
Mhm.
Just got back last week, and I was there for this was my shortest trip I had, and it was still really nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
for sure. And how long was it?
It was, like, 2 full days. I mean, I flew out late. I got there, like, dinner time, had the next day, I did the shoot, and then I left at, like, 3 in the morning because I had family in town where I base, so it was really quick. I was exhausted, but I was very grateful, and the families that I work with I mean, every family, honestly, that I work with anywhere, they are wonderful people, absolutely wonderful. They invite me in for wine and ask me to stay for ribs and eat
Yes.
dinner, and I mean, they're just so kind, and I'm so grateful for them.
I would like to like draw attention to this because this has been
Mhm,
my experience too. The higher
mhm,
ticket the client, right? The more
mhm.
they're paying, I have not found them to be more demanding. I've not
Yeah.
found them to be less pleasant. In fact, I find them to be more pleasant.
It's
The
easier. Mhm.
hospitality, I also get invited to go
Mhm.
back to their house if we're not at their house, or like go have some wine, go have, stay for
Mhm.
dinner. They'll send me home with food, like make or invite me to be a part of the party once if it's that sort of, so it's like I would I would like to like, yeah, agree with you there that this
Mhm.
higher ticket client that many people are afraid of serving is actually a much easier person to serve, because
Mhm.
I don't know, I can only speculate because I'm not in that not in that class, but I think
Me
that
neither.
they just don't, the micromanaging a photographer is the last thing they wanna bother doing.
Yep.
So they
Mhm.
do their due diligence, they hire somebody who is putting out what they're looking for, and then they trust you because they have other
Yes.
things to worry about in their life. They're not
Mhm.
looking to nickel and dime you, and that's why they're willing to pay, because they believe you're gonna deliver. Um, yeah, that well, good for you, but this must have also helped with this realization, and having success with this must have also helped then your Portland, because do you optimize for Portland
Yeah.
for your
Mhm.
home? So did that kind of make you take another look at what you were doing for your regular homepage, or were you,
Mhm.
and we didn't, did we mention that you are basically creating a secondary, tertiary, the homepage for these different locations, that
Yeah.
and that's how, so people land on these
Right.
homepages, but they're not really your homepage.
Right. It's just
So
where think of it as like another door to your virtual business
right,
office. Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, before I talk about your Portland business, let me stop myself, because I want to like pick your brain about how you're doing this. So you have this alternative, this side door to your business, which is the
Mhm.
homepage for whatever the destination that you're looking to optimize for. From there, does it have a difference? It must have a different sales page, because it sounds like it's a
Mhm.
different price point.
Yes, that's a good point. I don't share my pricing on my page. There's multiple reasons why I don't do that, and I teach that.
Yes.
You can always change it later, but as you are working on building your rankings, there's a strategic reason why I did and want my students to hide their pricing. And when I say hide, I don't mean like make it hard. What I want the user to do is focus on what the experience is going to be like, because that right person is going to take that in and they're going to be like, this is the person that I would love to work with. And this is exactly what I'm looking for. And then when they inquire, then they go to my sales page. I call it like my welcome page, but it's my sales page. And I have multiple sales pages for different niches and different locations.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's deconstruct this. So
Yeah.
your sales pages, your welcome pages are just hidden pages on your website.
Correct.
How
Hmm.
does somebody gain access to that? And is there an automation that's like, if this, then that, that gets them to the right sales page then?
Yeah. So when they inquire, they'll send me their inquiry form. And then from there, they've chosen like a family in the Oregon or Washington, or a maternity, Oregon or Washington, newborn, or Palm Springs family. And then from there, that will trigger that specific email to go out. And then that specific sales page is linked within that email. And I have it like in big red bold, like here's where you're going to get the rest of the information. But in that first email, I really want to just let them know, like, hey, this is a quick automated email. All of the information is going to be below. And then I shoot them a text after and just say, hey, it's Jamie. I got your inquiry for whatever, family photos or newborn photos. And I just want to make sure that landed in your inbox. Did it come through okay? And then I answer any questions that they might have mentioned on the inquiry form to make it specific for them. But
So that
I would
part's not
say,
automated. You're in there and you're kind
yeah,
of, okay.
I do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm really slammed, I'll give myself some grace. Like I might send and text later, or I'll send up a follow up email that says, "Hey, this is really me now. This isn't like the automated one." And
Yeah.
I'll say, "I've got your questions, and here's the answers. I
Yeah.
want to answer those for you." So, but I really like to be prompt, and it's something that I think has helped.
Hmm.
Well, I think my website helps from the very beginning when they look at what I offer in my business, but the fact that I'm following up so quickly and have automations, is huge. I mean, I just got an inquiry this morning for Palm Springs and I got it and she got the email and I shot her a text. She's like, wow, you are really prompt.
Yeah.
So,
And that says
that's
a lot.
already setting them up. Yeah, because they know, like, you're gonna be well taken care of, and although it's luxury, I'm not saying, like, "This is a luxury experience." That's why I'm answering you so fast. Like, it's just known, it's just there.
It's just implied by that. And I think that's like another good, great, excellent point that you've already made twice is like a luxury brand rarely is going to say this is luxury. We're not
Uh-huh.
going to use it. And it's rarely about opulence.
Right.
It's about something
Uh-huh.
curated, something special, something different and high
Mhm.
touch usually.
Mhm. And intentional and seamless. It's not necessarily the price tag, although I think that's a whole 'nother can of worms. I think we
Well,
could go into, like, you
that
gotta charge
communicates the same
something to
thing
make a
though.
profit. Yeah.
Because
But
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, because it doesn't work the other way. It doesn't work to have a really high touch experience and everything that's like luxury coded and then to be like, and it's $600. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't
Something
make
is
sense, and
and that's gonna set off red flags in a lead's
it
head.
does, and we
Yeah,
do it every day. Photographers get really concerned about, like, well, they get all in their head about it, which, I mean, we both have. I get it. I still do sometimes. But if you really are able to step back and ask yourself, like, if I were to see this, like, experience and then the price was I thought it would be this, and then they came back and said this, you automatically think, why? What's wrong? It's just human
yeah,
nature, we do that. So, it
yeah.
it does have to match that, but with that said, like, the other way around is important too, like, if you are charging those higher prices and those you're serving those luxury clients, I like to call them, somebody that does have that budget, you have got to be on it, like, you have got to have excellent customer service and communication. And I don't say that to scare people, but there's automations that you can set in place. There's things you're going to be putting on your website. There's your sales page, how you do that. And just everything is just cohesive and just really seamless. It takes time, but
It
once
does.
you get it a well oiled machine, like it's doing like 99% of the work for you.
It is. And like, my personal opinions on pricing, on
Mhm.
an overly automated experience. However, there's a right way and there's a wrong way, and there is everything in between. And
Right.
it makes so much sense to me that if like you are offering these very different prices to basically
Mhm.
this for the same job,
Mhm.
yeah, of course. But it sounds like it's not you're not necessarily gatekeeping that
No.
information is very quickly and readily available.
Yep. Hmm.
It
And I say that on there too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So people are getting that information almost, like within 24 hours of
Absolutely. I'd say probably within 5 minutes sometimes or
oh,
within a couple
nice.
hours.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
And what software are you using for the for these automations? And is like I'm assuming it's
Yeah.
more than one piece.
Well, yes, I use HoneyBook, and I will say Emily Woodall helped me do all my automations. Like, that was something I felt like the
She's
investment was
wonderful.
well worth it. Well
Yes.
worth it, because I was trying to do it. But I will say now that she's got, like, my automations in place and we have, like, this really beautiful proposal I send out, and it's it's not like this heavy, multi-page thing, but it's, like, very seamless, and they're like, "Okay," like, now they're like, "We're ready to walk into the experience. We're going to be paying for it. We're going to be booking you." She's done all that for me. It's made it easy for me to just duplicate that, so I'm understanding it more. Yes,
Emily's
there's all
great.
automations.
Emily's great. Oh, wow. Oh, cool. Well, I use HoneyBook too now.
Mhm.
Like I'm a few months in, maybe like 6 months, and it's like the fourth time I'm using it, but I'm giving it a full
Mhm.
year this time. And I really, there's so much potential, and I can absolutely see how you would use HoneyBook for this type of automation.
Yeah.
Oh, very, very, very awesome. And I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but just because it does have my interest, what
Mhm.
do you feel like, are you able to track the metrics of the people who are getting to that, um, to not the sales page, but the page that precedes where the prices are?
Mhm.
How can you see if there's a drop off when it comes time to like hit the contact me button or request the info button or whatever it is?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I look at a lot, especially when
Yeah.
I was trying to rank. Like, I'm watching people, looking what they're doing on my site. I have a thank you page, and I
Yeah.
see what they're doing after they inquire. Are they staying a while? What are they, what are they doing when they get to the sales page? Things like that. I've also had help, but I'll say this: I have had help refining my sales page, but I was getting booked before I had help, and I had just designed it myself. So I
Nice.
have refined it. But I can see what they're doing on there and things like that, and seeing when they're how long
Right.
they're there, where they're clicking, things like
Yeah.
that.
And are you, I mean, I know, I think I heard like 10% is about the conversion that you want. And if you're converting a lot more than that, like a lot more than that, then you
Hmm.
probably need to raise your prices or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
but do you have an idea of like the conversion of like the traffic
Hmm.
to I mean
Yeah,
just the conversion from the traffic to actually inquiring?
would say probably from when they inquire. I'm not sure about that, but I probably convert about 1 to 2 out of 10. And I hear no a lot, but I'm used to it now, like, I'm not offended and nobody's rude, like, I felt like my website before and the experience I was offering, people were haggling more, and they don't. That what they usually say is either sometimes they'll say nothing, I do get ghosted, that does
Sure.
happen, that's part of the job,
Yeah.
but they'll say, "I don't know if I need that level of expertise. This looks like a very beautiful experience, and I would love to do this at another time." Like, they're extremely nice
Right. Yeah, I
and they're
appreciate
very
that so much.
kind, and that's across the board, like, whether I'm in Portland or Palm Springs, people are very kind.
Yeah. So I appreciate that so much when people are just honest, like, "Oh, it's much more than we
Mhm.
can afford. Wish I could, but I
Sure.
can't."
Mhm.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I've
Oh, I
been
do
there.
too.
Will be there
Absolutely.
again.
Yeah.
So what are some of the components of your homepage that do
Mhm.
you think make it so high converting?
I think what makes it so high converting is one, that they can find me. That's huge, obviously. But
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
when you're newer at SEO or you don't really understand it, like if you're not getting found, like
yeah,
that's tough.
yeah.
So you got to get found. But the other thing too is that I'm using the best of the best work that I have, and I have it in a way where I'm not just like I call it visual vomit, like when you just have a ton of photos and there's no rhyme or reason, there's no context to why they
Yeah.
need to scroll. So I've got social proof, I've got badges, I've got an about me section. I talk about what the experience is like. I have testimonials, things like that, because I want them to scroll and I want them to interact. I've got galleries that they can click on. I have multiple call to actions that they can go even deeper into the experience and learn more. So there's multiple ways to do that. And that's a good thing because that's not only a green flag to Google, but as they're moving through there, they're getting more of that information. They're learning like, wow, I'm going to be really well taken care of. Like they're, I think they go from like, I want photos to like, this is the experience that I wanted and I didn't even know I could have.
If you can be that option when people, because everybody's going to look at more than one option and start to compare.
Absolutely.
But we've all had the buying experience where we start to research and there are factors that we did not even consider as we're
Yeah.
making our short list of who we're going to buy from or
Hmm.
what we're going to buy. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it is non-negotiable that your
Hmm.
nightstand has a USB plug. And now
Hmm.
all of them, and you will not consider one without. So to set this precedent of a standard as a photographer that people of offering things they didn't even know they needed,
Hmm.
that must improve return clients too. And I
Hmm.
don't imagine that a lot of your out of town people, because they're
Yeah.
usually out of town themselves too, right?
Mhm. Yeah, a
Um,
lot of them are, and even at home, like,
yeah,
I have a lot of tourists, but I do have
yeah,
return families for
yeah.
sure, but I do serve a lot of, like, traveling families and tourists,
Same.
so it'd be hard for me to know or say, like, how much are returning because they're maybe they're in the Midwest and they don't live here or
Right.
something, but they always do say, like, "If we come back, like, we'll call you." For sure.
That is my experience too. I have a really
Mhm.
healthy amount of local clients, but I have
Yeah.
a lot of and the ones who are the easiest to sell
Mhm.
and or at least it feels that way, and yeah, who pay the most are the ones who are visiting, and unfortunately they're also the ones who I usually only get to work with once.
Yeah.
Um Great. And so, I know that like in our little y our little photographer group chat that we're both in, I was
Yeah.
looking for a good sales page template. How did you come up with your sales page template? Because that must be doing some heavy lifting too.
Yeah. Well, I knew I needed to take it off of like my main navigation. So
Mm.
honestly, I just made it up. I was like, well, what would I have put on my page anyway? So I started with that. And the top of it starts with, hey, congratulations. Thank you for inquiring. And there's a picture of me. And I want them to know, like, I appreciate that they even took the time because I know they're very busy. And I'll even say, like, you're probably in the coffee line at Starbucks or, you're dropping off kids or you're taking care of older family members. Like, I know that the person inquiring is busy. And then I go into, like, here's the steps, even though I've already mentioned it. Like, people miss things and they need to hear it multiple times, but it looks different. So I'm like, here's how it works. Here's the next steps. I offer them to book a consult call if they want. I very rarely have that happen. And then from there, I go into here's the experience for families. Here's an extended family. Here's a maternity. Here's a newborn. And here's my newborn and maternity bundle. And then from there, they can go to my calendar and book from there. They're welcome to just reach back out to me and
Right.
ask. And I usually have people say, these are the dates we want. Is that okay? And then I'll just shoot them the proposal. So, yeah.
Nice. Oh,
Mhm.
nice. I meant to ask, and I know people are probably wondering too, what are you
Uh-huh.
using to track the activity? Is it Hotjar or something else?
Mhm. Yeah, I used Full Story for a long time. I just went over to Microsoft Clarity. It's a little easier to use and it's not so heavy on your site. So I'm newer to Microsoft Clarity. I just started that maybe 3 weeks ago, but uh, anything that you can do to see what they're doing is really helpful because you don't want to make, I think a lot of us make changes on base what we think somebody is going to do or that they might be doing, and this is going to give you a visual way to see like, well, they're actually not doing what I thought at all. So you're not, if there's something working, then you're not changing it and you're not always guessing. So sometimes I'll see people
Right,
click on a
right.
button that goes to the wrong page and it was on accident by me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. So I'll go in and
Yeah,
fix it really quick
yeah.
because I make mistakes all the
Yeah,
time.
of
So
course.
little
Yeah, of
things
course.
like that, or like how far they're scrolling. Are they actually reading it? Are they booking a call? Do they need to even book a call? I mean, it's nice to have. Some people want to, but most of them don't. Where
Right.
else can I, fix this? So, SEO on your website is not, it is a living, breathing thing. Like you have to pay attention to it. But the nice thing is it's not like social media where you gotta be on, like, all the time and hustle, 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 and you're not really
Mhm.
sure if it's gonna work. I mean, I know there's people that are really good at that and have success. I've never really had that much success. I use it more for nurturing clients, but
Same. Yeah.
you do wanna watch what they're doing and you do wanna make updates here and there.
Yeah. I love that. I Hotjar, I feel like is not a thing anymore. Or they changed or they're bought
Oh,
because
okay.
I could be wrong. But I always had the little, what is it called? A widget?
Mhm.
Whatever that little secret guy is on my website. I had a
Uh-huh.
ball just watching what people were doing and like
It's
seeing where
really
they're it's
interesting.
really interesting.
Uh-huh.
I love that sort of insight. It felt a little voyeuristic, like, but because it is,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it it is just, you don't have anything but what their IP address and like their general location.
Yeah,
Unless
you're not, I mean, you
yeah,
can't see them or hear
you
them or
don't know
anything
who
like
they
that, but
are.
you do
Right.
see, like, you can see where their mouse is going. You can see if they're
Mhm.
highlighting anything. I mean, I can usually tell too if it's like something scraping my site or AI. Like it'll be a really quick session and it'll
Yeah.
look really weird. Or you'll see somebody highlighting something, and I'll get an email a week later that's like, "We love your style of photography, what you offer," and then they repeat back what's on my site, and then they're like, "We would love to help you with editing or something." So I'll get some
You want
spam emails sometimes.
$50,000 today?
Yeah. Yeah, but I can usually tell now when it's a, like, real person searching,
Right.
so and it'll say where they're from, like, if they're from Canada or the United States
Mhm.
or
Yeah,
something like that, so it's very insightful.
they are. And do you use a pay version of Microsoft Clarity?
I don't. No,
Yeah.
and I didn't for Full Story either. A lot of these programs, they kinda make it sound like you need to upgrade in the way they word it, and you really don't have to. I will say, like, when I used Full Story, in the beginning, I ran out of, like, credits because I was watching it a lot in the beginning, it's like, "Well, you need to upgrade," and it looked like all of my info was gone, but it was just that my credits ran out. So just be careful of that. Like you can still do these things for free
Yeah.
and you might run out of
Yeah.
credits, but nothing's wrong with your site. It just needs to renew the next month. So,
I
but it's
never
very
yeah.
scary.
I never
Yeah.
paid for anything on Hotjar either, and, yeah, I could see there were different things that I didn't have access to, but, was for me, for it was perfect. Sounds like it's perfect for you too.
Yeah.
Okay, now on to Portland. So did you establish all of this and the way that you do things with your homepage and website building and SEO before, or did it, like, that impact of having like unexpected success with the Palm Springs one in particular, did that make you
Uh-huh.
revisit your main homepage and start to rework
Mm.
it in any way?
No, I had that pretty much set up before I added Palm Springs. I
Yeah.
kind of did that towards the end of, I mean, the end. It was like, I was starting to rank and I was starting to get inquiries, but I quickly learned that, I'm going to have a slow season here. And what am I going to do? And it was like, I mean, I don't know if you felt like this. I had quit my job and everything was going well, and I knew the winter was coming. So, excuse me, I went back to dental hygiene because I was a dental hygienist for over 17 years. I had to go back that winter part time, which I figured I would. But at that time, I was like, I don't want to do this again. Like, I really am really ready to close that door. It was very challenging too with childcare and school. And
Yeah.
I was like, how did
Yeah.
I do this? I don't even know how I did
Yeah.
it. But so I knew I had to do something. So I was like, okay, I want to get picked up more in the winter there. So I do. And then I added brands like the next year. So that's helpful. And
Nice.
then so things like that, like, I just knew, like, I needed to do that, and then then later, again, I'm at education and things like that, so things to bridge that gap during the slow season. So it was after I created, my my homepage for Vancouver, Washington, and then I've got the Portland areas and the Oregon coast and things like that, that I added Palm Springs
Yeah.
and branding.
Wow. Wow. So, are you blogging as well to
Mhm.
kind of bolster up those destination homepages? So you're doing blog posts in it, and
I
that is
am.
your other secret skill is,
Yeah. So I really sucked at blogging when I first started. I was so confused. I was like, I just don't get it. I was just blogging all the time,
right?
didn't understand it. But I will say learning how to blog the wrong way really made me blog really well the right way once I figured it out. So
Sure.
yes, I do
Okay.
think it's important to blog around those areas. So I have like location inspiration blogs like the Palm Spring windmills, and then I share images about that location, and then I internally link it to my Palm Springs page. So I don't have a ton, because I don't think that you need a ton, and I think doing too many sometimes can actually hurt you, and you
Right.
can start to get a little keyword cannibalization there, so you wanna be careful, but I do think it's important to have those because not only that, let's just say you have a blog that you wrote and it's about now you added this new location and you're gonna write 2 blogs and maybe one's not ranking that well yet. Well, your user can still get to there. You can link them there. So it's still useful. So, like, don't beat yourself up if you've written a blog and it's doing really well for your user. You're showing that you're an expert in that specific location and that type of photography that you offer. So they're always helpful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, this is an extremely helpful page. So,
Good.
or a helpful conversation.
Mhm.
With your homepage, are
Mhm.
you so you are more, it sounds like you're more a proponent of like a scrolling homepage that's kind of serves as an overture to the rest of your site, where it just gives a little
Uh-huh.
bit of information of everything else. What are your goals with your homepage? Are you looking for people to stay on it for some time or click around,
Yeah.
or like, is it a circular thing? You probably always want to have a next step, right?
Mhm. Yeah, so the first thing I want them to do is stay on the page for a little bit. I really try to get them on there for a minute. Of course, that's not always possible. A minute or longer is great. Sometimes they're on there for 40 minutes. I mean, they could walk away and come back and scroll
Yeah, yeah,
again. So you never
yeah,
know. But a minute. And then what I want them to do is scroll down. And I very rarely have people scroll all the way down. So, like the least important stuff I've got down there, but it's still helpful if they get all the way down there. And I want to take them to like my experience pages and my about me page. And then I want them to inquire. So, kind of leaving like breadcrumbs like click here for the experience, click here to learn more about me. Click here to inquire, or, here's a blog post that you can check out. So they're just getting all this information. It gives them a reason to want more. They're like hungry for more
Yeah.
information about this experience.
So are you strategic with the sequencing of like you don't want them to go and look at your portfolio until they look at this? Or like do you feel like there's an important sequence that you want them to follow?
Yeah, I mean, my goal is that they go like homepage, experience, about, and inquire. So
And
that's the
what's
goal.
the psychology behind that?
Because when they do that, they will repeat back to me everything that they've read, and they're like, "That's what I wanted."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, of course, like, does everybody do it? No, not everybody does.
Right.
But when they do that, they're like, "Okay, here's the homepage. This is who she is. These are the things she offers. I'm going to go to the experience page. They're going to dive into more of that." And I will say, I don't have a portfolio page. My experience page is like my upgraded portfolio page, because I don't want them to just go somewhere where there's just photos. I want them to get context with the photos. Like,
Mhm.
this is who you are, and this is what I do, and I know this is what you want. Here's what you're gonna get. Here's what it's gonna look like. Here's some more testimonials. Here's some more galleries that you can look at, but they're strategically put so when they click on a gallery, it opens up and they can only see that gallery. So everything's super cohesive. They have to close it out, go to the next one. That one's super
Mhm.
cohesive. So they're only looking at those and taking those in. And
Yeah.
then they can click to the about me and things like that. And
I
inquire.
I like the sounds of this. I am somebody who for a very long time did not have a portfolio page. I had enough content all around my site
Yeah.
that I felt like it wasn't necessary, and I did get a website review done. I was like, You need a portfolio page." And I
Yeah.
added one, and it's like,
Yeah.
I
I
kinda
actually
wanna remove
disagree.
it.
Yeah, I disagree. I mean, everybody's got their thing and what works for them. So, I mean, my way is not the only way. I mean, of course it's not,
No.
but
It sounds like a good way. Sounds like it's working.
I will say, like, again, like, visually, like, they're like, okay, I mean, how many pictures do they really need to see? I very rarely have people say, can you send me a few more? I do have people say, for this specific location that I'm interested in, do you have any more examples? Oh, sure. And then I have blogs about that. So I'll send them
Right,
that.
right.
But no, they don't need to see just a page of photos. It's not high converting, and if you're watching what they're doing, they're probably just gonna click on it, scroll a little bit, and then they're gonna be done.
Yeah. I
So,
also like maybe this is flawed thinking, but I also think of Instagram especially as a portfolio
Mhm.
page. It's
Oh,
gonna be more up to
absolutely.
date. Yeah,
And connecting.
it's more connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really is a little bit more of like I don't remember the last time I updated my website's portfolio page because that's a pain in the ass, right? Like so and what platform do you use? I'm assuming you have a WordPress site.
I do for my blog, and then I have Show It.
Show
Mhm.
It. Oh, so Show It and
Yeah.
WordPress. Nice,
Yeah, I
nice,
love
nice.
Show It. I love that, I can move things around on,
Mhm.
like, mobile and desktop, and the other one doesn't
Right.
do the other one.
Yeah.
It gives me a lot more freedom, and I love that. And then
Yeah.
when I switched well, I had Wix for my first
Okay.
one. You can still find it if you search. It's really bad.
Oh, it's
And then
still alive?
it's
It has
still
a different
alive.
domain?
It is. It's bad though. It's so bad. I mean, it's good for, like, when I had no idea what I was doing, but it's pretty bad. And then I went to Squarespace, and then I had a designer design my new site on Show It. I mean, but that was a while ago. Like, it looks a lot different now. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so
Hmm.
I have Wix, and I have on more than
Hmm.
one occasion thought about leaving,
Mm.
but, Wix has a Wix actually has a lot, and my SEO is very good.
Yes, you do have
So
good
that's the
SEO.
other thing. I'm like, Why? Like,
Yeah,
why
if
do
it's
I
working.
throw the baby out with the bathwater? Like, I can't
Yeah.
justify that. But
Hmm.
Wix recently started allowing you to edit your mobile site independently of your
Good.
yeah, and that's a big deal. But they also have a lot of like I host my classes on Wix. Like Wix has a teachable
Oh,
style component,
really?
which is what I'm already paying for it. Isn't that
Yeah, I
great?
didn't
Yeah,
know
because
that.
Teachable is really
Hmm. I
expensive.
wish Show It would do that. That'd be nice. Because I have
Right.
Kajabi, and it's insanely expensive.
Right. Yes, it is.
Mhm.
Those are very expensive. I mean, is it as good as Teachable or Kajabi? No. But like for me
Yeah,
who I'm not
but it works.
I'm not even like that big of a, like you probably, I don't know that I've really even talked about any of my asynchronous courses on here because I don't, that's like not what the people who I educate really go for. They're more of a one-to-one
Mhm.
mentor type of person anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
But so for me, it's not a priority. But it does other things like I don't need to worry about like a Shopify or anything like that. The shopping is built. So there's, if you had Wix, you know it's extremely comprehensive.
Mhm.
I know it doesn't get a lot of points for SEO typically or design, but I don't know,
Mhm.
maybe Jamie, you want to look at mine and give me like some hard truths about it.
Yeah.
Give me like a
Yeah, I would love
comfortable list
to.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad
Um,
you mentioned that because you can, I mean, people say like, "Oh, you can't rank on Pixie Set." I mean, that's not true. You can. I used to
no.
blog for a photographer that has Pixie Set and she ranks very well. I mean, I think it's more about, understanding that yes, there's a technical side of SEO, your on-page SEO, then you have your off-page SEO, but also
Hmm.
your user experience is your SEO. Like you have to think about it that way. And now you've got like AEO and GEO and all these other letters they're throwing in and people get thrown off. And I always tell people like just focus on what you're already doing because that is going to be helpful. Like it's all encompassing. So
Well, doesn't SEO just kind of inform AEO and GEO anyway? Doesn't it kind of
yeah.
feed it
Yeah,
anyhow?
for
So like
sure.
that's another thing I accidentally have really good AEO. And what's GEO? Is GEO Gemini or is it different? What's the G stand for?
GEO, that is for oh my gosh, let me look really quick. I just had somebody ask this the other day. Hold on. I have a really good blog post too, from Neil Patel that I can give you.
Oh, the expert, the expert.
Yeah, he has a really good blog on AEO and GEO. But that's the funny thing, though. At the very end of it, it's like, oh, do this generative engine
Generative.
optimization. I kept wanting to
Generative.
say large language model, and I always anyway.
Okay.
Generative engine optimization.
Okay.
Anyway, but
Okay.
in that blog that I read from Neil Patel, it was like all the things he was saying, and I'm like, okay, so in the end, it's SEO.
It's SEO. Right, because
Yeah.
I haven't changed a thing. I'm getting found. I have clients telling me that they found me through Claude, they found me through ChatGPT, they found me through Gemini, they found me as the Google recommendation. And in Wix, again, when you on your
Yeah.
dashboard in Wix, they have a lot of insights as to like where you're ranking and what's actually coming up when people are finding you there
Oh,
and like what does
nice.
it say about you. And I can see where I'm ranking compared to like who I'm in competition with, and
Oh,
I'm killing
nice.
it. I'm killing. But
That's amazing.
I'm not in a city, so I always have to, like, preface my
Mhm.
SEO success with that. I'm not in a city, so I my competition is not like yours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're doing amazing, but and but the other thing I will say is, things like getting mentions. Like before, it used to be like, well, if you can get a do follow backlink, you want to do that, and that's where somebody's mentioning you on their website. Maybe that
Right.
website's got a high domain authority, and they're giving you a link, and it's a do follow link, and that just is like, I'll I'll put like SEO juice, better SEO juice. But now I feel like with AI and all of these things, just getting a mention is just as important or helpful. So, keeping those things in mind moving forward, like now, like don't dismiss like if somebody reaches out to you and they're like, we want to feature you in this Redfin blog post, and maybe they're not giving out a link. I would still say yes. I mean, I still think it's worth it. So just making sure that you're coming across as the authority in your niches. So I think that's very
Right.
helpful for AI.
Super helpful. This has been a very helpful conversation. Um, Before we move into the lightning round, can you share a little bit about, um, if somebody feels called out or if somebody's feeling like, "Oh, she is the person who I really need
Mhm.
help from for SEO." Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about your booked
Mhm.
photographer program?
Yep. So I have a 6-month mentorship program. It's called the Booked Photographer. And it is where I say it's about SEO, but it is really about helping a female photographer, especially a mom who's feeling really stretched thin and busy and is feeling like I can't do SEO, it's too techy. I really break it down into checklists and things you need to be doing and so you can move on. Not only that, they're gonna get support and no judgment support. So like I was telling you before we recorded, There's a lot of SEO courses that are great, but in my SEO journey, in my business journey, it was always a male and usually a wedding photographer. And although I've had pretty good mentors, I always felt like they don't get it. Like there's something that they're missing, and it's your time. You're doing this in between naps and pickups and a kid barfing on you and somebody pulling on
Yeah.
you when you're trying to pee, you know? It's like
Yeah.
it's insane what we're doing.
Yeah.
So really allowing enough time for you to do that, and knowing that I've been where you've been, I know, and it takes patience and it takes time. SEO is not overnight, but it's well worth the effort. So
Yeah.
we really focus on, getting the foundations for your website and then growing from there, but getting the support. So they get that one-on-one support. I have a Slack channel. I have group calls, things like that. So
Nice. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie. All
Hmm.
right. And tell people too about your podcast because
Yes.
it's not new, but it's new since the last time you were on here.
Yeah. So it's called the Photographer Podcast, and it's photographer in the end. It's like, capitalized HER.
Yes.
It's kind of cheesy, but I like it. But that has a year on there, and there's lots of guests on there that are just talking. I'm not just talking about SEO all the time. Sometimes I am, but I really want to help photographers wherever they're at in their journey to know like you're not alone, and there's somebody out there that's been where you are, and there's so many different ways to do it. And I've gotten a lot of really great feedback. Like I'll have somebody email me and they're like, I really needed to hear that. And maybe it was about lighting. Or
Yeah.
I've had somebody email me about you when you were on there and they're like, I needed to hear that. I never even thought of that. So there's so
Um,
many moving parts that I just want you to be able to turn it on and feel like you have somebody there with you and
yeah.
helping you.
Yeah. That it's not this island of a career. It's actually a
Hmm.
lot of us, a bunch.
Yeah.
It's an archipelago. We're
Yeah.
all doing our own thing, but it's so
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Jamie. Well, you're such a lovable person. All right,
Oh,
are you ready
well,
for the lightning round? These are hard
I'm
hitting,
ready.
okay? Okay. So I'll start with something topical. What is your desert island lens? Like the only lens if you just had to choose one for the rest of your life.
I have 1.4.
Love it. Love it. And
Lens on my
what do
camera.
you shoot?
Canon R6.
Canon R6. Okay.
Yeah, I never
Uh
take that thing off.
yeah. Well, that's for good reason. I am currently really wanting the Nikon came out with 35 1.2. I really,
Mm.
really, but it's like, I think it's $3,000.
Yeah, I mean, mine's used, I'll say that. I think mine
Yeah,
was 1,400,
I
I
have
think it was
no,
25, it's used, I've had it calibrated once, and it's been fine, so I'm happy.
yeah, I love used
Yeah.
lenses. Rolling Stones or Beatles?
Oh, that's hard. Oh, Rolling Stones. Rolling
You're the
Stones.
first one to say that.
Really?
Yes, I will
Oh,
accept it though.
I do love the Beatles, but Rolling oh, yeah, for sure,
Rolling
Rolling
Stones.
Stones.
City or country?
Country, I live in the country. Love it.
Yeah. Ocean or mountains?
Oh, that's hard. I'm gonna say mountains, but I love both.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you there. Okay, this one's tough. Hiring a web designer or DIY?
Oh. Oh gosh, well, that depends on where you're at in your journey, but I'm gonna say you should hire a web designer for how it looks, but you should know your SEO because that's not gonna fix everything for you. I've done that
Uh,
multiple times.
and I know of web designers who are supposed to take care of the SEO, but what they do is that
Yeah.
you get backlinks on all these like shit sites where it's like you go to the page and
Mm,
and all it is just a bunch of links.
mhm.
Is it is it SEMrush? No, it's not SEMrush. I think it's Neil Patel's thing. What's his software or thing called?
I think it is, isn't it SEMrush?
Maybe not. Maybe not. But you can see your competitors, you can see
Yes.
who,
Mhm.
why, like what their backlinks are, and you can
Yep.
see when they're trash and when they're legitimate. And
Mhm.
because I was usurped. I had somebody take my spot out of nowhere on
Really?
Google. And so in there, I went and I saw, and she had hired this web designer, and I went to the I did all this work that was none of my business, but I was curious, like, how did she
Yeah.
do this? Um, the designer she used has this package that includes SEO, but I don't know what
Okay.
this practice is called, but it's not keyword stuffing. It's like this other thing where you get a ton of backlinks, but they're not from legitimate or
Mm,
trustworthy sources. So
yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I've heard Mary Beth talk about this, how
Mm,
it's short-term good, but long-term
yeah.
detrimental.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing too you got to think about is you know your location better than anybody. So when I've had mine designed before, they were like, "Well, we'll use this keyword," and it wasn't even. They're like, it was popping up, but it didn't even make sense. It was like I live in Vancouver, and they're like, "Well, Vanco is coming up." I'm like, "Well, that's what is that gonna do?" Like, so really understanding
Yes.
what it is and how it all works is so incredibly helpful, and you're in the driver's seat then, and then you know, and you have so many opportunities open up to you when you know all that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So in on the topic of hiring somebody to work on your website, would you hire or would you rather a web designer or a
Okay.
copywriter?
Mm, I'm gonna say a web designer, but I've spent a lot of time learning copywriting and how to speak to my client. So,
Mm,
and
yeah.
I think you
It's a
should
skill.
because you know the best, even though
Yeah.
if you think you don't know, you do.
Good copywriters. I'm in awe of them. I want to
Yeah.
get one on the show because it's a skill.
Mhm.
But yes,
Yeah.
if you can find your voice, that's even better. All right.
Yeah.
Another toughie, dogs or cats?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm a crazy cat lady. I'm gonna say cats, and on my
Yeah.
personal page, I share a lot of really stupid cat videos. So I'm gonna say cats, but I have a golden retriever, so I love her just as much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm in the same boat as you. But I'm
Yes.
also a cat. Cats just
Yes.
they're
They're
just
so funny.
they're so funny. They are.
Yeah.
Work from home or coffee shop?
Oh, I'm gonna say work from home, but have a coffee maker so you can make lattes.
Yeah. Yes. Chicken tending or gardening?
Ooh, gosh, these are really hard.
I told you. I wasn't being
Oh
facetious. These are hard
gosh.
hitters.
I would say chicken tending, but I do have a garden and chickens, so
They
I'm gonna
are
say
like
chickens though, because I like to just hang out with them.
me too. I don't know if I could choose, honestly, if you asked me that question, don't, because I love them
Mhm.
both so much. And they are like one part of the same
Yeah,
thing for me too.
they're a whole thing. They have to go together.
Yeah, they do. Okay. So we'll scratch that. Okay. Shooting or admin work?
Say that one more time. Sorry.
Shooting, like
Okay.
with your
Mhm.
camera, or admin work, like all the back
Oh,
end stuff.
shooting.
Oh
Shooting.
yeah?
Mhm. Mhm.
See, for me, it's flipped.
Mhm.
Blasphemy, right?
Yeah.
All right, last one. Podcast hosting or podcast guesting?
Ooh. I love being a guest. I'll say I like being a guest because
Me
I
too.
just get to show up and yap.
Same. Me too. No prep. No prep. Except for those
Yeah.
2 times that I didn't show up when I was
Oh,
supposed to show.
no, that's fine.
But yeah, I do appreciate the lower lift of being a guest, but
Yeah, it's just fun
yeah,
to chat.
it is. And it's fun to chat with you, Jamie. This has
Thank
been
you.
a wonderful conversation as always. Thank you
Yes.
for coming back.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I will have you again, I'm sure.
Good. Good.
Where can people find you?
So they can find me at Jamie. I'm like Jaime. It's Jaime Bugbee, Bugbe photography. That's my Instagram handle. And then you can also find my education stuff at Photo SEO Coach. That's my other one. But you can also go to my website, jamiebugbeephotography.com, and I have all my info on there as well. But come say
Wonderful.
hi. I just love chatting with people and learning who's found me and where they're from.
Jamie's super nice, so you should. And now maybe Jaime. I will. I
Yeah,
love
oh,
you know,
I get called Jaime all the time. You can
well,
call me Jaime.
it's your name, not your
Mhm,
name, but the name Jamie trips me up because I've known 3
mhm.
different ways of spelling it for people, so I'm always,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
having to check against their, like, social media, like, "Oh, wait, which is the" so that you saying that will help me with
There's so many
remembering.
different ways to spell it, but I always say my dad messed up my name. My dad was in love with Jamie Summers, the Bionic Woman, so I was named after the Bionic Woman, and he spelled it weird, so, I don't know, but
I
yeah.
don't know, I've known plenty of Lady Jamies with this spelling,
Oh,
so
good.
I don't
Good.
think it's
Yeah.
weird. I think it's just one of the ways. Well, thank you. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and we'll
You
talk
too.
again very soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
So until next time, keep shooting, keep creating, and keep building the business that supports your dreams. Have a fantastic week. And remember, in the business of photography, your creativity is your biggest asset.